Hi friends, it's Mr. Whalen. I am back with another story, another one that I found in our library downstairs here at Founders. I found it close to a book that I read previously called The Secret Science Project that almost ate my school. If you remember that one, if you've seen it already, if not, it's out there somewhere. This book is by the same author and with a different artist. So you'll get to more words by the same author, but see what the pictures of a different artist do for this story. So you can kind of compare the words of the author with the pictures of the artist that they're working with. I thought that was kind of cool. So I have to turn off the lights because without the lights on you can't see me, but with the lights on there's too much glare on the book. So I have to turn the lights off and then we'll look at the book. There we go. Now it's better to see the book with. This is called Wild About Books. Wild About Books by Judy Sierra with pictures by Marc Brown. And let me show you real quick. Here was the other book by Judy Sierra. This was the one right here. She also wrote this, but you see, different artist here. Stephen Gamble did these pictures, Marc Brown did these pictures, and we'll see what we think about Marc Brown's art with this book. I mean, could we imagine Stephen Gamble doing this artwork for this book? Maybe it wouldn't have been a good fit. But maybe Marc Brown's pictures work better with this story. See what we think. Wild About Books. It started the summer of 2002 when the Springfield librarian, Molly McGrew, by mistake drove her bookmobile into the zoo. Molly opened the door and she let down the stair, turned on the computer, and sat in her chair. At first, all the animals watched from a distance, but Molly could conquer the strongest resistance. By reading aloud from the good Dr. Seuss, she quickly attracted a mink and a moose, a wombat, an oryx, a lemur, a lynx, 8 elephant calves, and a family of skinks. In a flash, every beast in the zoo was stampeding to learn all about this new something called reading. Forsaking their niches, their nests, and their nooks, they went wild, simply wild about wonderful books, choosing thin books and fat books and Cat in the Hat books and new books and true books and heaps of how-to books. Giraffes wanted tall books, and crickets craved small books, while geckos could only read stick-to-the-wall books. The pandas demanded more books in Chinese. Molly filled their requests, always eager to please. She even found waterproof books for the otter, who never went swimming without Harry Potter. Raccoons read alone and baboons read in bunches, and llamas read dramas while eating their lunches. Hyenas shared jokes with the red-bellied snakes, and they howled and they hissed till their funny bones ached. A tree kangaroo who adored Nancy Drew began solving mysteries right there at the zoo, such as, why were the bandicoots books overdue? Gently, Molly taught lessons in treating books right. For the boa constrictor squeezed Crichter too tight. Baby bunnies mucked up Goodnight Moon with their paws. Giant termites devoured the Wizard of Oz. And Bear's love of books was completely outrageous. They licked all the pictures right off of the pages. Tasmanian devils found books so exciting that soon they had given up fighting for writing. They made up adventures so thrilling and new that the others decided to be authors too. Pythons wrote with their tails, penguins wrote with their bills, and porcupines wrote with their very own quills. At the new insect zoo, bugs were scribbling haiku. The scorpion gave each a stinging review. The walking stick wrote, "A cannibal twig silently devours a leaf, eating, not eaten." Scorpion says, "Pretentious." Dung Beetle wrote, "Roll a ball of dung, any kind of poo will do, baby beetle bed." Scorpion wrote, "Stinks." The Millipede wrote, "I dig for treasure, in my enchanted castle, a rotten apple. Boring." And the giant hissing cockroach wrote, "Hiss, hiss, hiss, hiss. Hiss, 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 hiss. Hiss, 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 hiss." Redundant. As the cheetah's new novel began to take shape, he read chapters each night to the Barbary ape. And although the gazelle couldn't spell very well, like everyone else, she had stories to tell. Imagine the hippo's enormous surprise when her memoir was given the Zulitzer Prize. With so many new books, Molly knew what to do. She hired 12 beavers, a stork, and a gnu to build a branch library there at the zoo. When the animals cried, "We can do it ourselves! We can check the books out! We can put them on shelves!" And they did, and they do up to this very day. 3 cheers for the zoobrary! Hip, hip, hooray! When you visit the zoo now, you surely won't mind if the animals seem just a bit hard to find. They are snug in their niches, their nests, and their nooks, going wild, simply wild about wonderful books. This book is for our favorite doctor, artist, poet, fun concoctor, Theodore Seuss Geisel. So she dedicated this book to Dr. Seuss. They both did. So very cool. Wild about books. Turn on the light. Yes, Wild About Books. That was fun, wasn't it? What a great book about how cool it is to read and how easy it is to get just drawn up in books and how important books are. And what great fun they can be, too. Books are a lot of fun. So is writing them, if you're much of a writer, if you like to write. That's a fun thing to do, too. Write up your own stories. It's always fun. Stories, poems, whatever you want to put on paper. Scribble those words out. It's great. But this was kind of neat to compare the words and the art of these two artists working with the same author. I think the Stephen Gammell's book about the Exploding Science Project, or his artwork, was good for the Exploding Science Project, but I don't think it would have worked for the zoo. His artwork is just kind of different, isn't it? But Marc Brown's book was great for a story about animals with a zoo, but I don't know if his artwork would have been good for a book about an exploding science project. Just interesting to compare. If you're out looking for picture books that are written by the same author and they've got different artists, you can look and say, wow, that art does something different for this story. It really adds to it. So, and depending on whose artwork gets used, the story turns out a different way. Okay, that was great to share with you and to talk about. So, I will see you for the next one. Bye.